In the name of Almighty, the most gracious and the most merciful. Hello everyone. Hope you are doing good and hope you are excited to learn something new today. Today we'll be discussing research methodology and introduction. This is the very first class of our research methodology paper. Subair here, assistant professor from Department of Psychology, Viras. I want you to learn the basics of research, the first module basically. Take it very slowly. In this we will be going not through the syllabus. We will be taking the first module through each textbook, reference textbook which are available to us, so that I think it will be very clear for us to understand the basics of research methodology. Hope that will make your future journey easier. So today, for that purpose, we will be discussing about the first chapter in the research methodology and introduction chapter from this book, Kothari's textbook, Research Methodology, Methods, Techniques, second division. I hope you must have gone through the textbooks a bit, right? The first chapter I have already shared it with you, so I hope you have read it and understood. I have got few questions from you all. We'll be addressing the questions by end of this. This entire first chapter is divided into 3 different lessons. For you to go through it very simply, I have divided it into 3 different lessons. In first lesson we will be discussing about the meaning of research, objectives of research, motivation, types of research. And in the second video lesson I will be talking about research approaches, research as a scientific method, and significance of research methodology and importance of knowing how to do a research done. In the third part I will be discussing about the entire process of research, which I didn't write in the synopsis. We'll be covering it as a third. So 3 videos we'll be learning 3 different things. So let's begin with the first one, meaning of research. Dear students, when you hear this term research, what comes to your mind? I know you'll have many things to say. Basically, this term research is defined as a combination of 2 terms, re plus search. That's a layman definition given by most of the people. Research, like searching for something new. If we define it further, it will be kind of searching for knowledge, searching for something which we do not know. Another definition gives us careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge, given by Advanced Learner's Dictionary. This is the learning, a basic definition given by a layman definition given by a dictionary, or even if you ask anybody, they'll give you this definition. But to get little deeper into what is research, the meaning of research, when it comes to academic terms, it can be defined as a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. It's not just gaining new knowledge, but it's systematized effort given by Redman and Mori. What is this systematized effort? Just knowing something new, some new knowledge, gaining something new, isn't it enough? No, but when it comes to academic terms, the entire process of doing research is defined as research itself. For example, Clifford Woody's definition says it gives the entire process of research. For example, research comprises, according to him, is defining problem, formulating hypothesis or suggesting solution, collecting, organizing and evaluating data, making deductions and reaching conclusions. The entire process of research is given as the definition of the term research itself. This is a more of an academic definition of research. So as a psychologist, as a researcher, we will be going through this definition of research, and there are many other definitions which you can go through in your textbooks and also in various other reference books, which will actually take you through this entire process of research, which is more of an academic definition of research. And objectives of research. Why are we going to do research? Why are we studying research? First, to gain familiarity with the phenomena or to achieve new insights into it. For example, like how something is happening. For example, we don't know about something. We want to know how that thing came into existence, or what is that thing? This is kind of an exploratory question. This type of research is called as exploratory or formulative research, wherein you do not have any idea about something and you go and start exploring something new. That is one of the objective of research. That is the reason why do we do research. Second, we know about something. Now we want to describe it further or understand it much deeper than what we know about. It is like to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation or a group. For example, fubbing. You must have heard the term fubbing. Fubbing is, avoiding somebody sitting in front of you due to using a smartphone. That behavior is called as fubbing behavior. Fine. We just know, yeah, it happens. Yeah, we do fubbing. We do indulge in this kind of a behavior. But do we exactly know what kind of people behave, indulge in this kind of a behavior? Do we exactly know why do we indulge in this kind of behavior? So, a research which is designed to understand these things better, to describe a behavior or an emotion or a concept or about an individual, situation or a group, is called as descriptive research. That is another objective of research. The third one is to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with something else. Like, it's called as diagnostic research. To give an example for this particular type of research, like, let's take autistic kids. They show very different kind of symptoms. For example, we are interested in knowing destructive behavior in autistic children. We are going and observing a kid for the destructive behavior. For example, head banging behavior in autistic children. This is not a descriptive study or an exploratory study. We already know head banging behavior occurs and how it occurs. It also occurs in autistic children. Everything we know. Now we are going further deeper into that autistic children's behavior. We are going to investigate the frequency. I know how many times it occurs, how to change it. We are going into a diagnostic mode. This kind of objective is known as this kind of a research is known as diagnostic research, which forms another objective of research itself. The fourth objective defined by Kothari is to test hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. This is further ahead in research. Like, we already know something, two different concepts. For example, we know that motivation leads to higher achievements, academic achievements. Okay, so how does that happen? How motivation leads to academic achievement? To what extent it furthers this achievement? These kind of exploring further and taking two variables, two concepts and relating them, seeing the relationship between both and how one influences the other. These kind of research forms another objective of research, and these type of researches are known as hypothesis testing research. These are all four basic objectives why we do research. These are the four reasons why do we do research on the basis of Kothari's definition or Kothari's. These are the four different objectives presented by Kothari. Next, motivation in research. Why do we, what motivates us to do research? Just simply asking these questions to all of you. Why are you going to do your dissertation work? I know the answer would be, to pass, to graduate in post-graduation, right, to complete your course. Yeah, primarily that is a motivation for most of us to do research, desire to get a research degree along with, whatever benefits we get, like degree or whatever it is. Primarily people go for research in order to get a degree. Fine. That is like given by Kothari also as a first motivation to do research. But is it the only motivation? No. Even for most of us, that is not the only motivation for doing research. Like the second one, desire to face challenges in solving the unsolved problem. Some people have this innate desire to solve unsolved problems. We have seen some people, just taking some Sudoku or taking a Rubik's Cube and try solving it. Right, that is one desire people have or a motivation people have for doing research. Next, problem initiate research. We all go through a number of problems in our day-to-day life. when we stuck with a problem, we try to solve that problem and we indulge in a kind of research. And intellectual joy of doing something, doing some creative work. Some people indulge in research because they love finding something new. They love this, they enjoy this joy of doing some creative work, coming up with some creative solutions for, day to day problems. And fifth one, wherein most of us will agree with it, that we have the desire to serve the society. That is another basic motivation for doing research. And the last one, desire to get respectability. Some of us have this desire, internal motivation, urge to do something and get fame from the society, or do something very innovative in this regard. So these are the basic motivation why people do research. You can just do a small check on, where do you stand? What are the things in these 6 points which motivates you in research? Next, types of research. I want you to focus on this particular topic. It's a major area which we'll be covering in introduction part. There are basically, 5 types given by Kothari, but we will be covering each of these types from the perspective of Kothari. But if we, before I begin with this, I would like to inform you about something. Like when it comes to type of research, different textbooks and different author gives you, various different types of researchers. Basically, all will be similar, but in a way it will be differing. In some way it will be differing, and then you may also find as 2 different name given to one particular type. Fine. So don't get yourself confused. Just try to understand all these types with the perspective of the author whose textbook you are referring. Fine. And then try to analyze and understand various types on your own. Fine. We may have further detailed discussion in further modules. After even first module, we'll be discussing about all these types further. But basically, you must have an idea about types. And one more thing I want to add here: whenever we talk about something, the types, we always base on something else. For example, if I'm asking you about the type of trees we have, like, you can only tell the types on the basis of something. For example, on the basis of the height, we have tall trees and short trees, right? On the basis of the use of trees, we have something like, the trees which gives fruits, and we have another category, the trees which gives wood, right? And on the basis of the place where tree grows, it can be divided again into few types, like, the wetland trees and the, mountain trees, and also dry land trees, like that. Whenever we talk about types, we have to base on something in order to define. Here, if you see, Kothari has actually defined these types of research on the basis of extremes he finds, like descriptive and analytic. Both are, opposite to each other, applied and fundamental, qualitative and quantitative. He has taken this approach in order to define types of research. Let's see each one, separately. First one, descriptive versus analytical research. In this, descriptive is something like which we were discussing about in the first objective of research, wherein, or the first and second objective of research, wherein you just want to understand what is going on, the current situation or the current scenario. To give an example, like the current scenario, like you just want to understand corona. Okay, how people deal with the pandemic situation which we are having, how they are dealing with it, with whom they are interacting, and how they are meeting their social needs, and how they are meeting with their psychological needs. You just want to understand the current scenario which is going on. What will you do? You just go with a survey, simple survey or a simple questionnaire you'll go with, and then you will try to understand the phenomena. This type of research is known as descriptive research, whereas the opposite to it, or a more elaborative form of descriptive research, is analytical research, wherein you take data of, for example, you want to analyze how people dealt with this pandemic situation over a period of time. So you will take the already available data of pandemic situations from a very past, from the history, and you collect all the available data. Like, you are not going to collect data, you are just taking all the available data and you are going to analyze the data. So that this type of research is known as analytical research. Hope it's very clear. It's very simple, like, descriptive, wherein you are trying to describe or understand the whatever is existing. In analytical research, you take the data which is already available and you are trying to get meaning out of it through analysis. Next type is applied versus fundamental research. First, applied research is you actually take a problem and try to solve the problem. Maybe it's like, for a best example would be an action research. Fine. So you just go find a problem which is there. For example, like, number of OCD cases are increasing in Kerala or in India. Fine. So you just go and try to find a solution to this problem. Fine. That these type of researches are known as applied research. And next is fundamental research. It doesn't deal basically with a problem. Here we will be studying about the concepts which are already existing that in day-to-day life. For example, like whether human being is positive or negative, the nature of human being or personality of human being. It doesn't actually deal with a problem, but it actually comes up with a theory. Fine. Developing a theory or developing a concept or a methodology will be the basic motivation or an objective of a fundamental research. Fine. Applied research is something wherein we are trying to solve a problem. Fundamental research is something wherein we are trying to define something or come up with a theory. Fine. For example, best example will be Bobo doll experiment. Right. In Bobo doll experiment, we are not trying to solve a problem. We are actually trying to understand the human behavior, a child's behavior, how they learn, the concept of developmental psychologies. We are trying to learn through Bobo doll experiment. Fine. So these are the basic two types. Next, quantitative versus qualitative. Most of us get confused between these two types and still won't get clear idea about it. Let me just simply define it here. Further, when we discuss about the process of approaches to research, I will go little deeper into it, and when we deal with other modules, you'll get very clear idea about quantitative and qualitative. To begin with, just note quantitative. Whenever you hear this term quantitative, just connect it with numericals. Quantitative always deals with numericals. We try to quantify or explain whatever we are studying through numericals. We quantify everything and try to explain everything. Whatever concepts, whatever theory, whatever things we are going to learn, we will just try to quantify and explain it. Fine. Whereas in qualitative research, we actually do not try to quantify it. We just try to explain it using words. Fine. For example, how happy you are. We cannot just quantify it, I'm 80% happy, 90% happy. Quantification is very difficult when it comes to, especially in the field of psychology, quantification is very difficult. So we try to explain it in terms of words. For example, you'll go and collect data from people, what makes you happy, how happy you are feeling, how do you feel now, these type of question you will ask, and whatever they narrations, words and the sentences which they use, with that you try to explain. In this type of research, it is just not the quantification, no numericals, but the researcher's observation, researcher's justification will be the data. Find the explanations. Fine. So this is a basic difference between quantitative and qualitative research. Fine. We'll see further. Next type is conceptual versus empirical research. Conceptual research is just based on abstract ideas. For example, like in philosophy, we have many, researches done on the basis of, or the theories developed on the basis of, mere, ideas people have, maybe this problem is because of this. This is like, conceptual research is based or, focuses upon developing theories. They come up with theories, then later they will test it. That is the empirical part. Empirical research is based upon empirical evidences. The data is a main source for empirical research. We collect data we go with the thing. We don't stick on to any theories, any concept. We won't go ahead with theories, or we won't base our research on theories, but we just collect data, and on the basis of the numerical values and the evidence which we collect, it's not only numerical alone, but the evidence, whatever evidence we collect, on the basis of that evidence we'll try to define it. That type of research is known as empirical research. So this is conceptual research versus empirical research. There are various other type of researches, like developmental research, or longitudinal studies. Longitudinal studies are those which done primarily in development psychology field, wherein one individual or a group of individual are studied over a period of time, from example from childhood to old age. They'll be studied throughout these type of research, or a study which is done for 5 years or 10 years continuously to understand a concept. Fine. For example, we want to know how morality develops in a child. Fine. We do it over a period of time. We'll check morality like during 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, like that. We'll take one particular individual and try to understand how he is developing. Fine. These types of research are known as longitudinal studies. And we have got lab experiment and field experiments. Like Pavlov study is a best example for lab experiment. In very a controlled environment, we do some researches. Those are like lab experiments. And historical researches are there, wherein we study about various historical incidences. And there are many other type of researches which are available, which Kothari defined in other type of researches. Okay. In next class, we will be discussing about research approaches. Thank you so much for listening to this class. Now I want you to go back to the material which I have shared, read it and try to understand everything and come up with more questions. Thank you so much. See you in next class.